Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. It's our Israelite Advanced Bible Study, the 19th of November, 2024. Okay, we'll be dealing with looking at Africa's role in the end times. We're going to check that out and look at few videos and read a few scriptures and see how Africa playing a role in the end times according to scripture. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at, examine the content, and then get the meat out. These videos will connect dots for you and lead you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. And we also have our Cash App on the bottom of the screen if you want to support the channel. Definitely move along, okay? That too would be greatly appreciated. So with that being said, our hours of operation that we live, you can come in, is Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time. We have 2 Shabbat classes on the Sabbath, one in the morning from 10 to 12 a.m. from 6 to 7 in the evening. Then we have a Sunday Bible class, which is at 5 o'clock, So it's mostly Q&A and a lot of dialogue. So you want to come in and check that out. Got some questions. You want to engage or whatever, we can do that. Okay. For those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Redeemer, the Lord of Hosts. Shalom and welcome to this channel, and welcome to our Israelite Advanced Bible Study. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, a prayer, we'll read the Psalms, and then we go into our current events, need to know information. We're going to open it up for some questions, Q&A, and then in dialogue, and then we go into our topic, which is Africa's role in these end times, according to Scripture and according to what we're looking at now in these last days. Okay. Moment of silence is for the Lord of Hosts and all that He's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. But Lord, we come before Thee at this time, and we are thankful for the knowledge that You have and the understanding that You have given us up to this point. Okay, oh Lord, we see Thy hand in the affairs of the world, and we know and understand that what You have spoken in the past will surely come to pass. Will turn out Thy face from us, but hearken to us at this hour. Hearken unto our plea. Hearken and do, O Lord. All praises unto You. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to read the Psalms. Okay. Okay. Read Psalms 40, right? There's a praise for answered prayers. It's a song. It's a Psalm of David. I waited patiently for the Lord, and He inclined unto me and heard my cry. He brought me up almost out of the horrible pit, also out of the horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock, and established my goings. And He hath put a new song in my mouth, even praise unto our God. Many shall see it and fear, and shall trust in the Lord. Okay? Shall trust in the Lord. Blessed is that man that maketh the Lord his trust, and respecteth not the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies. Many, O Lord my God, are Thy wonderful works, which Thou hast done, and Thy thoughts, which are to usward. They cannot be reckoned up in order unto Thee. If I would declare and speak of them, They are more than can be numbered. Sacrifice and offerings thou didst not desire. Mine ears hast thou opened. Burnt offerings and sin offerings hast thou not required. Then I said, lo, I come. In the volume of the book it is written of me. I delighted to do thy will, O my God. Yea, thy law is written in my heart. And I have preached righteousness in the great congregation. And lo, I have not refrained my lips, O Lord, thou knowest. I have not hid thy righteousness within my heart. I have declared thy faithfulness, thy salvation, and I have not concealed thy loving kindness and thy truth from thy great congregation. Withhold not thou thy tender mercies from me, O Lord, and let thy loving kindness and thy truth continually preserve me. For innumerable evils have compassed me about, and my iniquities have taken hold upon me, so that I am not able to look up. They are more than the hairs of my head. Therefore my heart faileth me. Be pleased, O Lord, and deliver me, O Lord, and make haste to help me. Let them be ashamed and confounded together that seek after my soul to destroy it, and let them be driven backwards and put to shame that wish me evil. And let them be desolate for a reward of thy shame that say unto me, Aha, aha. And let all those that seek thee rejoice and be glad in thee. And let such as love thy salvation say continuously, the Lord be magnified. But I am poor and needy, yet the Lord thinketh upon me. Thou art my help and my deliverer. Make no tarrying, O my God. Okay, so that was Psalm 40, right? Praise for answered prayer. Anybody have any comments on that? Anything they heard? Okay, let me get a couple things in here. I saw, yeah, like I was saying, when they concocted JC, they came to the Psalms. This was the number one place they came to inject them into the Old Testament. They set the stage that David is prophesying about Jesus Christ, when in fact David is the Messiah. And I want to show you one of the what I was saying. One of the examples says verse 6. David. He's talking about his relationship and his dealings with the Creator, with the Deliverer, Michael, right? Sacrifice and offerings thou didst not desire. Mine ears, David talking, my ears as thou open. Burnt offerings and sin offerings as thou not required. So right here, verse 7, they use the same verse over in New Testament for JC. It says, then said I, David talking, then said I, David, lo, I come. In the volume of the book, it is written of me. I delight to do thy will, O my God. Yea, thy law is within my heart. So they saying, when David said this, he was prophesying into the future. JC, when David tell you right here in verse 7, he's talking to the Lord. Then said I, lo, I come, David, I come. In the volume of the book, it is written of me. And so, what is he talking about? Okay, go to Numbers, right quick. And we've been here before, but somebody might not have heard this before. So you go to chapter 24. And Balaam prophesied about David, right? It says, verse 24, Balaam the title of verse 20, chapter 24 says, Balaam prophesies, or Balaam foretells the happiness of Israel. So when is that Israel happy? When David came. David came, Israel was with the Lord, because David kept them on point to stay with the Lord. So we're in verse 14, right? When the story is that the king of Moab, Balak, is trying to get Balaam to prophesy and put a curse on Israel. They up on this mountain, and Israel is coming through out of Egypt, and they passing through the land, and Balaam wants Balak wants Balaam to put a curse on Israel. So he's trying to, but the Lord is standing there with him, so he can't. So verse 14 says, but now, behold, I go to my people. Come therefore, and I will advise thee what this people shall do to thy people in the latter days, right? 15, and he took up a parable, right? I told you how this works. The angel enters into the man, to the prophet, and then the prophet go into a trance. And so the angel go take over and speak through him. So verse 15 says, he took up his parable and said, behold, Balaam, the son of Pierre, has said, and the man whose eyes are open has said. So when he says eyes are open, let's go back to what I said. The pineal gland. The purpose of the pineal gland is tied to these angels. And so when they bring dreams, that's what they're dealing with. Pineal gland. That's the purpose of Creator put it in there, in our head. But anyway, he says, and he took up his parable and said, Balaam, the son of Pierre, has said, the man whose eyes were open, third eye, right? 16, he has said, which heard the words of God, knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw in a vision, right? So he entered into him. He saw in a vision, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open, right? 17, this is what he's going to say. This is what David is talking about in Psalms 40. 17, I see him, talking about David, but not now. They coming out of Egypt right now. They're not even a nation yet. I see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nay. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter, as a king, David. A scepter shall rise out of Israel, right? And shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Seir, and Edom shall be a possession. Seir also shall be a possession, for his enemies and Israel shall do valiantly. Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, as David, king. All the kings in Israel that came out of David's lineage, they had to come out of his lineage. So David got the dominion. Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. And when he looked at Amalek, he took up his parable and he said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall that he perish forever. So this is what David was talking about. In the scriptures, they was talking about him coming, David coming. But they took it when they concocted JC, and they took that concept and put it on JC, like he was the one who was supposed to be coming. But it's David right here. This is what David's talking about. Okay. So, for another thing, the people that don't know, is Balaam that's in chapter 24 of Numbers. He's the one, him and his two sons are the ones that was in Egypt that threw their rods down when Moses threw his down. He had Balaam and he had two sons, Janus and Jambri. When you go back and read the story, you'll see those names. It's the same man right here that went up against Moses. Okay, you have to understand that. But anyway, so he this vision, this prophecy right here, when he went into a trance, he prophesied that David was coming. So this is when he prophesied it, right? I'll show you when it happened, when it came to pass. You have to go to 2 Samuel. This is when it prophesied right here. Okay. Then later on, it came to pass. Let me get it. Chapter Get it. It says chapter. Okay. Right here, chapter 8, 2 Samuel chapter 8 says, and after this, like I was telling you, after this, it came to pass. What came to pass? What Balaam prophesied in Numbers. After this, it came to pass that David, just like Balaam said, David smote the Philistines, subdued them, and David took them, I don't know that word, Nehemiah, out of the hands of the Philistines, and he smote Moab, and he measured them with a line, casting them down to the ground, even with 2 lines measured he to put to death, and with 1 full line to keep alive. And so the Moabites became David's servants and brought gifts. David smote also Hadassah, the son of Rehab, king of Zobah, and he went to recover his border at the river Euphrates. And David took from him 1,000 chariots and 700 horsemen and 20,000 footmen. And David hopped all the chariots, all the chariot horses, but reserved to them for 100 chariots. And with the Syrians of Damascus, excuse me, came the Sukar Hadassah, king of Zobah, and David slew of the Syrian 20,000 men. Then David got garrisons in Syria and Damascus, and the Syrians became servants to David and brought gifts. And the Lord preserved David whatsoever he went. And David took the shields of gold that were on the chariots of Hadassah and brought them to Jerusalem. And from Bethnath and from, I can't say these words, Beroth, cities of Hadassah, King David took exceedingly much brass. So we keep on reading that. This is the prophecy that Balaam prophesied, that a king was coming with a sepulchre, and he was going to smite the corners of Moab and all that. He was going to expand the kingdom of David's Most High's kingdom, Jerusalem. And this is it right here, not Jehoshaphat. Okay. So, any comments on that? Okay.
No, sir.
So with that being said, we go to some current events. Let me get this. Okay, here we go.
Path to bankruptcy. America's on a path to bankruptcy. So we have to cut government spending, or we're just going to go bankrupt, just like a person would.
As we all know, recently Donald Trump won the US election, and one person that took center stage in it all was Elon Musk. Musk was actually one of the Trump campaign's largest, $100 million to support the campaign. But interestingly, his involvement with Trump isn't stopping at just campaign support, as Elon is now expected to take an active role within the Trump administration. You might have seen this meme floating around in the last few weeks featuring Donald Trump, UFC founder Dana White, and Elon Musk, with the caption reading, "We're looking at the new CEO, CMO, and CTO of America." And in the case of Elon Musk, it appears to be true that he will take on a sizable role in the government as head of government efficiency.
At the suggestion of Elon Musk, I will create a government efficiency commission tasked with conducting a complete financial and performance audit of the entire federal government and making recommendations for drastic reforms. And Elon, because he's not very busy, has agreed to head that task force.
So what is Elon Musk's role going to be? Is it going to be a good thing, or is it just going to be one big conflict of interest? Elon Musk, as was recently confirmed, is set to become the head of what he calls the Department of Government Efficiency, or, you guessed it, DOGE for short.
I think the funniest name is DOG, the DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency.
And from what he said so far, it seems his primary goal is to simply cut out all the waste and inefficiency that's currently seen in the government. And from my research, this all boils down to 2 key objectives. 1, reducing the government deficit, and 2, deregulation. Now, I'll talk about both, but I want to start with the idea of reducing the deficit. So much like a person, the government has income and it has expenses. And if it wants to spend more than it earns, it has to take on debt to afford it. Similar to us, if we want to buy a new car, but we can't afford it, then we have to take out a loan to buy the car. Now, the problem with the US is that every year since 2000, the government has spent more than it earns each year. As you can see, fiscal year 2024, the government collected 4.92 trillion in revenue and had 6.75 trillion in expenses. In the income column, we have 49% from individual income taxes, 35% from social security taxes, 11% from corporate taxes, and then smaller amounts from customs duties, excise taxes, estate and gift taxes, and other. And the controversy at the end.
Did you ever worry we wouldn't get you to enjoy this?
For safety, environmental protection, and consumer rights. So the idea of scaling them back raises legitimate concerns. Critics worry that loosening regulations might lead to reduced safety standards or fewer protections for the public. For example, consider the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA, which enforces vehicle safety standards like seatbelts, airbags, and crash tests. Now, while this is admittedly a reasonably extreme example, if these regulations were weakened or removed, it raises the question, would automakers continue to prioritize safety, or would they be tempted to cut corners to reduce costs? While there may be potential for streamlining and simplifying the regulatory landscape, it's reasonable to be cautious about the consequences. At the end of the day, deregulation can have both positive and negative effects. Here's Musk's response to these concerns.
We've got far too many government agencies. The federal bureaucracy has gotten out of hand, and we just need to pare it down to a sensible level. And if it turns out that like there's some regulation or agency that was doing something useful, we can put it right back. No problem. Like it's like, oh, that regulation was important. No problem. Put it right back.
On the surface, this approach seems practical, right? Testing out a leaner government and then restoring any crucial regulations if needed. But some might argue that it could be risky, right? If a regulatory body is removed only to realize later that it was actually essential, then there could be a period where people are impacted before it's reinstated.
Okay. Anybody have any comments on that? What do you think about Elon Musk coming out of the blue? And they put him over the government. He's going to be regulating the government spending, taking stuff out, putting stuff in, whatever he chose to do. A new office or a new, I guess, cabinet. Any comments on that?
Shalom. I had heard about it. Yeah, him and that guy that was running for president.
Exactly.
Yeah, the two heads of the department. I think they called it. Oh yeah, I had a question about it because there was a cryptocurrency with the same acronym as the department. Doge. The Doge coin is what it was called, but I think he said the department is the Department of Government Efficiency or something like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you sitting there paying attention, you can see. I mean, you think there's a coincidence that they got a Bitcoin with the same name?
No.
Right. And then he got Trump is big on that on cryptocurrency.
Yeah. So like you said, AJ, that Doge was it was a cryptocurrency. So first, y'all need to pay attention to where Elon started off on, and it's interesting. Like Leonard just said, that this Doge thing, the name of this new department that they're running was based off of the Department of Energy and Governmental Efficiency or something. That's what it stands for.
Yeah.
So the Dogecoin was something that Elon actually was invested in back in 2013. He started that meme coin. It's a meme coin. It was never, they call it the accidental cryptocurrency. It was never supposed to be anything that was supposed to jump off. So it's interesting that he is now, head of Doge, according to the government, and it's an acronym for what Dogecoin first came into existence back in 2013, which is a coin he started. Yeah, so that's crazy.
Right. Yeah. So I got something here for some need to know information, but it's tied to what this conversation about. So I'm gonna play that because it explains a lot based on everything that was shared. So here we go. Let me go here, my bad.
Elon Musk spent over $130 million to help elect Donald Trump so he could buy himself a seat at the table and have direct influence over key matters, from engaging in discussions between Russia and Ukraine to helping shape roles and policies within a Trump administration.
So this is a secret plan from a year or two ago. This guy just uncovered it.
I mean, even before the election, J.D. Vance was threatening to drop support for NATO if Europe tried to regulate Elon Musk's platforms, which makes sense when you realize everything that Musk did to help elect Trump, transforming Twitter into a pro-Trump MAGA platform, amplifying conspiracy theories and misinformation that favor Trump, running a shady voter outreach program, paying voters $1 million to vote for Trump, and spending millions to fund a pro-Trump PAC. Clearly, Musk felt the investment was worth it when he said this to Tucker Carlson.
He loses, man. What?
If he loses, I'm
It does seem that way. You can't just be like, yo.
Yeah, I'm like, how long do you think my prison sentence is going to be? She's like, will I see my children? I don't know.
Because it's not like you can say, well, yeah, I maxed out to him, but, I get...
I have no plausible deniability.
However, despite his king-making efforts, history tells us that the dynamic between Donald Trump and Elon Musk won't last long, especially when you have two spoiled narcissists who love the spotlight. Trump will inevitably kick Musk to the curb sometime after taking office. But there's a lot more going on, and the British activist group led by donkeys has quickly gone viral with a video that lays out the narrative that Elon's acquisition of Twitter is part of a calculated effort to utilize vast oligarchic wealth to create a media environment that supports far-right ideologies.
This is the story of how the world's richest person, the owner of Tesla and X, bought the global town square, then corrupted it before using his immense wealth to help elect a convicted felon. April 14, 2022. Elon Musk makes an unsolicited offer to buy Twitter for $44 billion. He claims the site has become politically skewed and says, for Twitter to deserve public trust, it must be politically neutral. October 27th, the deal goes through. The next evening, a far-right conspiracy theorist breaks into the San Francisco home of Democrat House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, intending to kidnap her. Pelosi is away, but the man attacks her husband, Paul, hitting him repeatedly on the head with a hammer. Paul Pelosi escapes with his life, but requires surgery for a fractured skull. While most people take the chance to decry political violence, the new owner of Twitter, Elon Musk, posts a tweet sharing an entirely false claim that Paul Pelosi was in fact injured in a drunken fight with a male prostitute with whom he was involved. Musk includes a link to a false claim on a website that has a history of publishing conspiracy theories, including a story asserting that Hillary Clinton is dead and has been replaced by a body double. Musk's post is retweeted 24,000 times before he deletes it. November 18th, Musk's Twitter starts to unlock previously banned accounts. Misogynist far-right influencer Andrew Tate was permanently banned from Twitter in 2017 after urging women to, quote, bear some responsibility for rape. Now he's back. Tate posts, I've decided to fly to the failed state of California, walk into Twitter HQ, and tell @Elon Musk he's a legend. On my way. 2 months later, Tate will be arrested in Romania on suspicion of human trafficking, rape, and forming an organized crime group. December 8th, 3 members of Twitter's Trust and Safety Council resign. In their resignation letter, they cite research that found slurs against Black Americans and gay men jumped 195% and 58% respectively since Musk.
So notice all this you hearing right here, it goes right along with them nut buckets from January 6th.
Takeover. 3 days later, the remaining members of Twitter's Trust and Safety Council are dismissed. Musk then tweets that, quote, my pronouns are prosecute Fauci, a reference to a conspiracy theory that the COVID crisis was exacerbated by America's top infectious disease doctor. December 16th, having claimed he's a free speech absolutist, Musk bans @ElonJet, a Twitter account that tracks the movements of his private jet using publicly available data. Musk also bans the accounts of a number of journalists who have written about @ElonJet. February 12th, 2023. Ahead of the Super Bowl, both Musk and President Joe Biden tweet their support for the Philadelphia Eagles. Biden's tweet is seen 29 million times, Musk's just 9 million times. Incensed, Musk leaves the game early and calls an impromptu meeting of Twitter engineers at 2:36 a.m. Their job? To change the Twitter algorithm to artificially inflate the reach of Musk's tweets by a factor of 1,000. making him the preeminent presence on the site. July 23rd, Musk announces Twitter is now called X. August 25th, Donald Trump, once banned, returns to the platform by posting a picture of his mugshot from Fulton County Jail with the words, "Election interference, never surrender." Musk reposts the shot. 4 days later, X reverses Twitter's long-standing ban on paid political advertising. November 15th, in a post promoting the racist conspiracy theory that Jewish people are importing immigrants to America to fix elections for Democrats, one X user writes, "Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of dialectical hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them." Musk replies saying, "You have said the actual truth." In response, several advertisers, including Disney, Warner Brothers, and Comcast, paused their advertising on X. Musk then tells advertisers concerned by hate speech on the platform,
Yourself. Go yourself. Is that clear?
Over subsequent months, Musk will become obsessed with the false claim that Democrats are allowing immigrants into America to create more Democratic voters, in effect, stealing the coming election, sharing the claim numerous times with his followers and pushing it to tens of millions more who choose not to follow him. A year later, it will be revealed that Musk, a South African immigrant, worked illegally in the U.S. in the 1990s.
Awkward. Remember, every accusation from the GOP is actually a confession.
November 25th, on X, Musk boosts the Pizzagate conspiracy theory, a long-debunked claim alleging high-profile Democrats ran a pedophile abuse ring from a Washington pizza restaurant. March 25th, 2024. Musk loses a lawsuit against the Center for Countering Digital Hate. He'd sued them after they flagged a rise in hate speech after Musk bought Twitter. In his ruling, a U.S. district judge calls Musk's case vapid and says this case is about punishing the defendants for their speech. May 2024, Musk creates a political action committee which he calls America PAC. Its objective is to mobilize 1 million Republican voters in swing states in an effort to hand the election to Trump. Musk commits to putting tens of millions of dollars of his own money into the Get Out the Vote push and clears his calendar every Friday morning for 30 to 60 minutes to meet with the team he's assembled to run the effort. July 14th, Musk calls Trump on behalf of J.D. Vance, urging Trump to select Vance as his running mate. Vance says abortion is murder and insults women who haven't become mothers.
A bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made.
Musk's phone call is part of a broad effort by Silicon Valley billionaires to ensure Vance is selected. The next day, Vance is unveiled as Trump's vice presidential candidate. September 6th, Trump says that if he wins, he will appoint Musk to head up a government efficiency commission.
And Elon, because he's not very busy, has agreed to head that task force.
The idea came from Musk, whose companies are currently facing at least 20 federal investigations. If he gets the role, it would give the world's richest man the power to regulate the regulators who hold sway over his companies.
Okay, so all that's happening. Everything they said, it went down by the playbook. He won. Now he got Musk up here in the position he said. Everything he said. Musk called him, told him they want J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance up. So you think that everything you've seen about the Project 2025 ain't gonna happen? Okay. Any comments on what you heard? Okay, so based off of everything you just said, everything I just showed you and I just said, check this out. And you can tell me what you think for the happen. Look at this right here. Everybody think it's a game. Okay, let me get it. Okay.
In, right?
Check it out.
Oh my goodness. So there is this pic of Trump's cabinet thus far, and it has gone viral. And the reason why it has gone viral is because everyone on the cabinet, there is not one black person in sight in the entire cabinet. Not one black person in sight. Now, I would argue, just a side note, I would argue that they would probably say that Vivek counts as black. Because you have to understand that the whole racist narrative of Kamala Harris not being black, that she's Indian, stemmed from the Republican Party. It stemmed from the Trump campaign. And unfortunately, you had a lot of these LOC, the NBA, ADOS, a lot of these, I'll say politically ignorant black people who ran with that narrative, who then started, regurgitating, well, she's not black, she's Indian. So what I find to be absolutely hysterical that they probably use this to, as signs that, hey, well, if Kamala is black and she's Indian, then surely Vivek can be black.
What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people?
I find this to be absolutely hysterical. Not because there's necessarily no black people on the cabinet thus far, because I know and you know that there's going to be a black person on the cabinet. We all know that there's going to be a black person on the cabinet, at least one, because if you think about it, there is one position that always gets a black person. There is one position that always gets a black person. We already know, director of HUD. We already know. Who is the black person who got the position last time? Freaking who? Ben Carson. That's correct. Now, brain surgeon Ben Carson, absolutely. He knows everything about housing and urban development, right? That's the guy you want to appoint for that position. Of course, it makes sense.
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
But I want people to understand that Trump is not dumb, right? You have to look at this cabinet and understand why he lost the previous election. The reason why he lost was due to a lack of white male support. That's the reason why he lost. And you can see, leading up into this election, he's been very distant to black people, very distant. Keeping this distance for, having, shaking hands and taking pictures. Before, you have all these black celebrities and everyone, shaking hands. You had Steve Harvey, remember, who were shaking hands. And now, remember his campaign? None of that was happening. None of that was happening. He kept it very white, very, very, very white. And he wanted to make sure that he gave a message to his white male supporters and saying, hey, listen, I learned from my mistake. I'm not going to do a platinum plan. You notice I didn't talk about any platinum plan 2.0. Listen, I'm not going to talk about prison reform. I'm not going to do any deals with Kim Kardashian or anything like that. I'm not going to do any of that. Trust me, I'm here for you guys now. I want to make sure that we are going to give you guys reparations, all right? We're going to give you guys reparations for all the DEI hires that has been going on. That's his message. That's what he's been saying this entire time. And even when it came to the Republicans, all right, you had Brian Downs, Tim Scott, they were tap dancing and doing all this.
You must really hate her. No, it's a shame. It's a shame. Uh-oh.
I just love you.
No, that's
What's the matter? Why you so ornery? You miss me? Huh?
Oh, yes, sir. I miss you like a hog miss flower, like a baby. Miss Mammy Titty.
Now, I'm going to argue with you, okay? I'm going to argue with you that Tim Scott or Brian Donalds is definitely going to get the HUD, director of HUD. I already know it, okay? I already know it. But I don't think this is anything surprising given as far as what his previous cabinet was about. There was only one black guy, Ben Carson. All of that campaigning they did, and they're still just waiting in the dark. You had them hyping up Brian Donalds, talking about, well, you could be a VP elect. You never know. You could be selected.
And you're on that list. Have you had any conversation with the president about being vice president?
Maybe not. I'm not gonna tell you guys that.
Well played.
I'm gonna keep that to myself.
Nigga, please. But I want people to understand that the cherry on top of this stupid Sunday is what people are saying. I've seen black people, black Republicans, these conservatives who are talking about, well, the Democrats they don't understand that we don't care about representation. We just want the best person for the job, okay? We care about merit. And I almost feel bad for them.
I miss you like I miss a rock in my shoe.
Almost. I almost do. Because
so like I say, look at everything that's happening, and then not only that, you got all these white folks, they nut buckets because they tied to that January 6th crew, and they got control of the Supreme Court. We got a Republican president there, Donald Trump. They got control of the Senate, and they got control of Congress. House of Representatives. So what you think can happen? You think all that's a coincidence? Your comments?
It's a setup.
Oh yeah, doomsday.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. If you really sit there and look at it, right? If Kalima or Kamala was in office, would
Okay.
there be a difference?
Would it be a
No, I'm
difference?
asking a question. Would there be a
Uh,
difference? Yeah.
um, um, it'll be a difference. They'll still have the same agenda, but it'll be slightly different because
So,
what they wanted to do was show a force. They wanted to show white America again, like white,
mhm.
you know,
All right. Now, remember now, this is the same female that says she ain't doing anything just for black people, right?
white.
So that's what I'm saying. Do we really think there would be a difference? So what's going on right now is what I said. It doesn't matter who is in office. It don't matter. You know, the only thing that matters is the theater. It's the only thing that matters.
Right.
And now what I noticed, what you've been doing, Leonard, is you've been proving a fact. And the fact that you've been proving is thus saith the Lord and prophecy. So it wouldn't matter. It really wouldn't, because you know what has to be, regardless of if we're worrying about who's, you know, the president. So
Right.
like you would have to be an ignoramus to think that they would have ever yo, look at the projected depiction on state versus state. What I like to say is they rolled out the red carpet for him because it is predominantly red. So they
Oh
rolled
yeah.
out the red carpet for him to be the president,
Right.
period. You know, and for us to sit here and still think that it's about black people, no, we already know, you know what I'm saying, what it is dealing with us during this time right now in this situation.
Right.
So, you know, from day one, we already understood what uh white supremacy was based upon. It's
Right.
not like I would be a fool to ever expect them to submit and you know choose some level of equality. Like
Right.
that's crazy for me to be, you know what I'm saying, that foolish. So it's very simple to understand how it's moving forward. The crazy shit is now what this man done chose,
Right.
Biden, excuse me, you know, let me put it out there. Biden done chose at the last 2 months when he said that he is gonna ensure a peaceful transfer of power. He now
Right.
chose to allow Ukraine to
Exactly.
use those long range missiles. So now that's the only thing that I think got me shook up, bruh. Like for real. Like that right there is the most, that's the most. But now I'm saying to everybody who's listening, but this is who you wanted us to fucking choose as, like Kamala already said she wouldn't have done anything different than Biden wanted to do.
Right.
So Biden just chose to allow Ukraine to use long range missiles,
Right.
knowing that the man that's in Russia said if y'all do anything like that, then that's an act of war. So my question is like, okay, so if I'd have voted for Kamala, I mean, would she have thought to do the same thing Biden just did?
Right.
Versus a brother, versus a man, can't call him a brother, versus a man who is saying, I'm trying, I'm trying to get my economy back on track. So, you know, it's you know, still a double-edged sword. Damned if you do, damned if you don't type of scenario.
Right.
But us as Israel, yo, this shit was never for our benefit dealing with these people in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. So when you look at that, I was talking about this the other day. Okay, is what people if they ain't learned nothing from this one. Like I said, you got to look at what's getting ready to happen. Look at how they setting it up. So what the purpose was, they knew putting a black woman in there for a president was gonna stir up that white side of the thing. They knew that. So they played the card that Biden was inadequate. He was delusional, right? So you played that card, but damn, you come back now all of a sudden he make a decision like he just made, but he's supposed to be delusional and incapable of making this any kind of serious decisions. That was the purpose of them saying that they're gonna put Kamala Harris up there. So the whole time, if you listen and go back to what they were saying about what Elon Musk was doing 2 years ago and all the things he was doing, we was being set up back then. Because you got to look at the swing states. This ain't never happened before. Biden beat him in all the swing states. Now he comes and these blue states. Now he come Kamala Harris and she don't win now one of the states.
Right.
Come on. It was set up. What we looking at was set up all the time. The whole time
So
it was set up.
So I'm gonna say it goes back to what you said. It was set up during Obama's administration.
Right. Because because of what the deal was, they when Obama came in there, now anything is possible.
Yep.
See what I'm saying? Now they black folks got beside themselves. When Kamala Harris come up there, she ain't never have a chance, but because of what happened with Obama, now you thinking that she can win. But she never was gonna win.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. They got that energy. They got that energy off of the vote.
Right.
That they realized how many niggas who didn't know nothing about politics or cared about politics voted for him just off the strength of him being a black dude.
And they thought they had some kind of power.
Yes, sir.
And remember what Dick Gregory told him when he ran? He said they made a mistake and gave him all them votes, and then they had to retract them.
They had to retract them. Yep.
So he already told you the vote. They finagling the votes. Just like with this situation with Elon Musk, they saying that he did something. Like I was saying, he won all the swing states. So they saying that those satellites that Elon Musk had, they was tied some kind of way to the voting machines. And then when that started coming out, all of a sudden all those satellites fell out the sky and tore up. Now they can't, they can't access it. Ain't that something? Anybody heard that?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, all this is a setup for what we looking at right now.
Mm-hmm.
He got even when he was making a decision on those Supreme Court justices, all of it was for right now. Because he got control of the Supreme Court. He a Republican president, and he got control of both houses.
Yep. That speaks a lot.
Oh yeah.
That speaks a lot for what we going into. And that's why I stress what Biden just chose to do now with allowing Ukraine this access to to bomb deeper. So that's what I'm saying. Like if people ever would read, like if y'all read scripture and understand, like for instance, the agreement between the northern tribe and Assyria to remove Judah from the throne.
Right.
Right. God had implemented. You are now getting your opportunity to witness how that works, because Biden sat with Trump and said, I am here to institute, right?
Exactly.
A decent, how did he word it? A peaceful transfer of
Exactly.
power, correct?
Exactly. Right.
How is what you just chose now to do a peaceful transfer of power? Break that down, Leonard.
Exactly. Right. It's a setup. Like I said, with everything. What that remind me of, and a lot of people don't even. I mean, they wouldn't even go there. But what it remind me of is JC. The way they set JC up, knowing he's not real, but the way they set him up. Then you come and you get in the book of John, I think it is, and he says he's talking to his apostles about John the Baptist. He tell them, if y'all can believe it, you're apostles, right? You got to go back to the people that's all over the world today that's supposed to be scholars and supposed to be Bible musicians or all that. They put in there, he tells the apostles, if you can believe it, John the Baptist is Elijah.
I know that. Yeah, I know that.
That's the same thing with this. That's the same thing with this, with Biden saying
it was them that did. Hold on, Leonard. It was them that said they believed that.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Oh yeah. And then he turn around, even in that same scenario, he says they get Peter, these Edomites. So everything we looking at now is from that same mind, from the Edomites. That's who's running everything. So then he says, he asked him, who do they say I am? He asked Peter that. And Peter said, he the rock. Right? So,
yes.
So let's look at that. Let's look at that. So then I'm over here in 2 Samuel, right quick. Then we get over 2 Samuel, right? So they're assuming that you ain't gonna read the Bible because you ain't gonna read it. You know what I mean? So 2 Samuel 23. And then he says right here in 23, chapter 22. It says, and David, 22:1, David spake unto the Lord the words of this song, right? In the day that the Lord had delivered him, right? So he goes to deliver right here. The Lord delivered him out of the hands of all his enemies and out of the hands of Saul. And David said, the Lord is my rock. See that? The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer. But you can't even bump against that, or even you can't even do the comparison contrast because you're not dealing with that. I mean, you're not opening 2 Samuel. You're not looking at David being a Messiah or that how important understanding what the Old Testament has told you. So he gets Peter to say he the rock. He ain't the rock. He tell you right here he ain't the rock. You see what I'm saying? So the same thing with that. They have no regard for. They figure that we're not gonna connect those dots. When Biden says that, you see what I'm saying? So what they tell me is that this is the same man that did that, the same man now that's doing this. These Edomites. They come from the mind of these Edomites. They're the ones behind the scenes that's dictating all this. It ain't Trump and it ain't Musk. It's the Edomites that's dictating that.
Right. Like people don't get that Trump got an answer to this situation. Elon is answering to this situation. Elon he is very masterful in what he's saying. Like people like that video you just rocked, that it was Elon who came to Trump and said, now let's do the well, you gotta understand what Trump represents. He represents this system.
Right.
So it's easy to sell you a belief. It's easy to sell your ass a belief.
Right.
Exactly. And for you to say, yeah, I believe everything that he's saying he gonna do. But you're losing what thus saith the Lord is then if you're believing that. You know what I'm saying? So I had a conversation with a brother who was telling me, oh, the ones that voted for Trump are the remnant and the elect. And I'm sitting there like, be careful with those words you choose, right? Be careful with those words you choose. Because if you look at how many people actually voted in this country, it's not, it's around maybe a half.
The
What
numbers don't
about the
add up.
other 100? The numbers don't add up. So what about the other 150 that ain't even vote? They was like, nah, we ain't involved in this foolishness.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like pay attention to how they've been manipulating your way of looking at things. You know?
Right. And the example of that is, okay, you know Smeagol, right? You know who Smeagol is?
Smeagol?
Yeah.
No.
Smeagol off of Lord of the Rings.
Okay, yep. Then I do.
That's the Edomite. He the Edomite.
Precious.
He that degenerate.
Right.
But he can't get up in front of everybody and run for the president because they're gonna say, like the Edomites today, these Jews today, or what's his name? The one that was over the pandemic.
Say again, AJ.
Vasi.
Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, Fauci. So they can only stand before the people for so long because people can't deal with them. They already know who they are. They wicked as hell. So they behind the scenes. So why did they choose Trump? Because Trump had all the people. He ain't dictating shit. But he got the populace behind him. That's why they went to the extremes, even after he had 34 counts. But he the man that the people, the white folks was behind. They had to go with him. So, but the whole time, them Smeagol. So Smeagol can't get up and put on no suit. He can't get up and put on no suit and the people gonna vote for him. You're a degenerate. Everybody looking to see you a degenerate. So he behind the scenes dictating everything. And like I said, you can see what they've done in the New Testament and what they're doing right now. It's that same mind. That Edomite. Come on. Look at the New Testament. That's an Edomite. That's the mind of an Edomite.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So
and it's the same thing with this. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with this political strife and structure that they have us believing this country is based upon the blue and the red.
Right, exactly. And then nobody knows. Well, I know it's probably some people heard a little bit about it, but nobody don't know about it. They got the skies in Israel lit up with that harps. They showing all these signs of JC in the sky.
Yeah.
So all this is lined up together. It's working together. They finna try to. Then I don't know if anybody saw it, but I was looking this morning and okay, you know all the drama was going on with it with those Arabs. Anytime an Israeli go up on that Temple Mount, they go bonkers, right?
Mm-hmm.
They go off. They try to kill them. Now all of a sudden, 12 of these Edomite Kohen supposed to be priests. They walking up on top of the Mount of Olives, and nobody ain't saying nothing.
What that got to do with?
No, I'm saying like they setting you up that the Most High is Jesus back, and he putting the calm on the people, and now these Arabs they're not violent no more because the time.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. What that got to do with what we know? Like you know what I'm saying? Like where that's at? Where's that written?
It ain't. Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah. So like I was saying before, you gonna say that if I can believe it? You know what I'm saying? If you Israelite and you in the book, hell no, I don't believe JC.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. It don't have, it's not scripture. It's not scripture. Elijah got his own body. Elijah got his own body, and John got his own body. Then you got
whatever
JC.
body John got, I don't know. I don't know what that body is John got.
Right. Then you got JC saying it, of all people. Hell, you should have got what my man named Judas Iscariot to say some crazy shit like that. You got JC saying it, written in red.
Right. You know, the dead nigga, he rose up, Lazarus saying shit.
Right. That's crazy. But that goes right over people's head. But there it is right there. They done mess up, especially now, because nothing that you saying in the New Testament is happening with the scriptures.
Mm-hmm.
It's what they done set up. They bring the past. It's not scripture. Like a prime example is the reason why I keep on dealing with Abraham Torrey. Them the real Jews. Isaiah 60 said, "Rise and shine. When you see me, when I have risen up over you, when you see that, know that the time is now. I'm over them." That's it right there. Look at all the miraculous stuff happening in it's Negro land, but they call it Sahel. But look what's happening over there. How fast Niger and Burkina Faso and Mali, how fast they rising. And then you think it's a coincidence that's happening, and then you got an all-white cabinet over here, and the white dude got full control of the House, the Senate, and everything. Come on.
On top of that, why is it that after Biden undone what he did, that all the targets that Putin is targeting ain't none of them shits in Africa? All these targets are European countries, so that's nation against these nations. So I'm gonna look at that, right? Even though I don't, I'm gonna prescribe to it with a deeper understanding, but it's still like he is saying that Europe is wide open, Switzerland is wide open, and all of these other people. So if anybody is not really paying attention to how that's working, then he ain't targeting whatever he's targeting after what Biden done chose. That's of any nation that is of any type of melanin.
Right, exactly.
Like he is targeting all these other European nations, and he is looking to make peace deals and monetary deals with nations of color.
Exactly, right, exactly. And then another thing about that, in the scriptures, right, thinking like a Hebrew, we know that those 4 beasts that Daniel told us about, he says every kingdom that ever rose, it failed. Even the Egyptian empire, it rose and it fell. Well, what these people doing? What's the objective of all this stuff we see going on? They don't want to go with the program. They done rose and they done rain. They don't want to fall. They don't want to fall. Say what's that?
No, go ahead.
No, I say they don't want to fall. They don't want, so that's they rebelling against the Most High. They don't. He already told them that they time that they was going to reign, but they trying to subvert the scriptures. That's what the New Testament is all about. Especially Revelation.
That's how I see it. I mean, I don't think they were rebelling. I don't think they were rebelling against the scripture. I think they fulfilling it.
Yeah, they fulfilling it. What I'm saying is they done rewrote it the way they wanted to come out, but at the same time, they looking like fools because they're actually fulfilling the scriptures.
That's what I'm saying. Right. Because they have no choice. They ain't got no fucking choice. So, if you look at them, like, that's what I'm saying. I just literally watched the video today, and Putin ain't, when he's talking about retaliation, I ain't see Algeria, I ain't see Burkina Faso, I ain't see Somalia, I ain't see Negro land in his conversation about where the fuck he wants to put nuclear weapons at.
Exactly.
Where he's trying to land any bombs at. Everything he is trying to tear up is predominantly, the Isles of the Gentiles.
Right, exactly, right. It's kind of it's ironic you said that about the nuclear technology, because I got a video right here. I'm gonna play a little bit of it, then we'll continue this conversation. So check this out. It's not NATO or the West.
Imagine if Africa no longer needed help from Western countries for its energy, industries, or even its future. Imagine small nations like Sierra Leone standing strong, fully independent, and making their own decisions. That could become a reality soon. Recently, Sierra Leone made a bold decision to work with Russia to build nuclear power plants, just like Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. But is this only about energy, or is there something much bigger going on? Let's find out. Africa has always been known for its rich natural resources, from diamonds to gold and oil. Yet, despite these riches, many African countries, including Sierra Leone, have struggled to uplift their economies and improve the living conditions of their people. The big reason behind this paradox is a lack of stable, affordable energy. Without reliable electricity, it's hard for any country to power factories, grow industries, or create jobs. For years, Sierra Leone has had to rely on energy sources that are inconsistent and often controlled by foreign companies. But now, the country is taking a bold step to change all that. Recently, Sierra Leone made headlines by deciding to partner with Russia to build nuclear power plants. This is a significant move, especially for a small West African nation that has long been overshadowed by larger, more powerful countries. But why nuclear power, and why now? The answer is simple. Sierra Leone needs a stable and efficient source of energy to truly kickstart its economy. Nuclear energy is known for being one of the most reliable forms of power, capable of producing electricity consistently without depending on weather conditions like solar or wind power.
So this right here, I got a question. Is that nuclear energy or nuclear technology, is that not part of the forces of the Gentiles?
Yes.
Isaiah 60.
Well,
you see,
right. The forces of the Gentiles shall be converted unto thee.
Is that not it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, it's so way above. That's what I'm saying. People step out of your religious boxes and shit, and just pay attention to what's really manifesting and taking place, and let God's prophecy manifest. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So if we look at that, that's why I said, and it's that you playing this, because I want you to keep playing the video or the soundbite, but look at what he is saying. He has no reason to attack any nation, right? That is in the continent of Africa.
Right.
None whatsoever.
Exactly.
You feel me? So I'm gonna give them a level of intellectual property. But you people who are coming at me, which are once again forces of the Gentiles, these Gentile nations, the Isles of the Gentiles, that's who I need to be focused on in paying attention to, who are the ones that are disrupting, thus saith the Lord. That's the simplest thing I could.
Right. Is there some? A little more of this play.
Problem with relying on traditional energy sources like oil or coal is that they are not only expensive, but also heavily influenced by global markets. When prices go up, countries like Sierra Leone suffer because they have to spend more money to import fuel. Meanwhile, renewable sources like solar or wind are not always reliable, especially during the rainy season or times when the wind doesn't blow. Nuclear energy, on the other hand, can provide a steady supply of power regardless of external conditions. That's why it's so appealing to countries looking for long-term solutions to their energy problem. By partnering with Russia, Sierra Leone is hoping to finally break free from the cycle of energy dependency. This kept African countries dependent on imports, which drained their resources. Sierra Leone wants to change that narrative by investing in its energy infrastructure. Nuclear power isn't just about keeping the lights on, it's about giving the country the tools it needs to grow its industries, create jobs, and ultimately improve the lives of its citizens. The partnership between Sierra Leone and Russia isn't just about electricity, though. When Russia's foreign minister met with Sierra Leone's foreign minister, they discussed a vision that goes beyond just energy. They talked about how nuclear power can be the foundation for a larger plan to boost the country's economy. With a stable energy supply, Sierra Leone can start producing its goods, reducing its reliance on expensive imports. This would mean keeping more money within the country, which could be used to invest in healthcare, education, and other critical areas. Imagine a future where Sierra Leone is not just exporting raw materials like gold and diamonds, but also manufacturing finished products. This would create jobs, increase incomes, and help lift many families out of poverty. But to achieve this dream, the country needs a reliable energy source to power factories and industries. Right. This is where nuclear power comes in. It's not just about creating energy, it's about creating opportunities.
Right. So Abraham Torrey is behind this, because he's the one. He got the Russians and the Chinese. They with him, right? And so he done brought the Russians and Chinese to come on a call with Kenya, and he's just going from one place to the next. Like I said, this scripture, right? So it's another thing, like we was just talking about the Bitcoin and the DOGE, whatever. You think that's a coincidence that this dude named Abraham? It's just one, the whole thing different from Abraham. You think that name all over Africa? Come on, man.
It ain't a coincidence.
Right.
And that you know what I don't know if people pay attention to is what all these so-called other nations, guess what they also had to pay attention to? Abraham. And the thing that God gave us, which is the only thing we actually got, is time.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it took these other nations a certain amount of time in realizing who the fuck we actually are.
Exactly. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now it hit a point in time, but now this is what I always stress about paying attention to what intelligence is. And the only way you can understand true intelligence is paying attention to what God gave us. And God gave us time. So that's the one thing that them other nations, that these goofies that we are under over here in this captivity ain't paying attention to. Like, y'all had us here for how long? And we still manage to survive, flourish, and on top influence everything that y'all deem worshipful. So the great hope that y'all had just lost $1 billion, and this person is 20 billion in debt, and she used all of our cultural achievements to become something, but it never manifested. So it shows that y'all were paying attention what y'all needed.
Right.
Versus the other nations who are paying attention to if you actually deal with us in accordance with righteousness, right? What could actually manifest.
Exactly. Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, it makes sense.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. It makes sense. It's like I was saying before too. You got after all the finagling, all the hoodwinking, what they done with the New Testament and took our books out, we right back in we right back in the same place with when the Pharaoh sent Moses back. It was time for the Israelites to come out of captivity. He sent them to the Pharaoh, and the Pharaoh turned around and told them, make bricks without straw.
Right.
We're in the same place right now. It's time for us to go. He's telling us to make brick without straw.
Over here.
Right.
Right over here. But that's what I'm saying. Now, if we go across the pond, then we are now seeing that, like, all them nations over there, like especially Russia, Korea, China, who have never pretty much lost their identity, correct?
Right.
And they're looking at this black dude or these black people who throughout time, which is what God gave us, they managed to stay, right?
Right.
Integral to their consciousness, integral to their understanding and their well-being and their understanding of how to survive, that they're saying, yo, shit, we need to work with them instead of thinking that using them is our best option. Versus what we just witnessed over here, they still felt using us was their best option and not working with them. You see what I'm saying? So now look at what's taking place. Yes, sir.
They just like the Pharaoh. They're doing the same thing when it's time for them to.
Over here.
They ain't doing what Cyrus did. Cyrus was slick enough to know to do what the Most High had told him to do.
Work with them.
Yeah, work with them, right. And then you got to remember too, Second Ezra says that those two little wings were reserved for the end. To bring the beast to the end. That's Russia and China. So they got a hidden agenda too. Right.
That's a fact, but they ain't got no choice. Because you know, still logic is gonna guide them to realizing we ain't gonna win without the understanding of what they're doing now. So if you got an Ibrahim Torre and he's just one faction, but all these other nations that's going behind it, then they at some point in time they gotta say, well shit, we got to work with them.
Exactly.
Versus thinking that the manipulation of them is still beneficial for us. No, it's not anymore.
Right.
So over here, well, let's look at what this quote unquote, you know, people would say this is the whore of Babylon. Well, then if that's what it is, then you're seeing it play out. You see what I'm saying? Instead of them ever saying, yo, we need to work with these people. Yo, we've been here from day one since y'all have created in America. We was here. So why y'all still think y'all could use us? Why is it never an option for y'all to work with us? And that's where a lot of people don't get. That's the Edom. That's manifested, you know?
Right. So let me read this right here to show you how they waiting on the mark of the beast and all this, the Antichrist to come. But let me show you how close we is. Right here. I mean Ezekiel, right? Okay. When you understand who the real Israelites are. So I'm in Ezekiel 38, right? It says right here, it says okay, let me get it. Yeah, it says, verse 16, 38, 16, and thou shalt come up against my people Israel as a cloud to cover the land, and it shall be in the latter days, and I will bring thee against my land, and thou and the heathen may know me when I shall be sanctified in thee, O Gog and Magog. Thus saith the Lord God, art thou he whom I have spoken of in old times by my servants, the prophets of Israel, which prophesied in those days many years that I will bring them against thee, or I will bring thee against them. So you got to identify who this thee is. My point is this. It says that, let me get it. Gotta find that verse. Yeah, here you go. Verse 11 says, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, right? And I will go to them that are at rest, that shall dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither a bar nor gates. Here you go. To take a spoil like they did before, right? When they came and got us from the same place before. Come to take a spoil and to take a prey and to turn their hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations which have gotten cattle, goods, and dwell in the midst of the land. Then here you go, 13. Sheba, Dedan, and the merchants of Tarshish with all the young lions. Okay, is Abraham, is not Abraham Torrey and the Molly and this other dude, is they not young lions? So it says, young lions thereof shall say unto thee, art thou come to take a spoil, as thou gather thy company to take a prey, or to carry away silver and gold, and to take cattle and goods, and to take a great prey. Therefore, son of man, prophesy and say unto God, thus says the Lord God, in that day my people Israel shall dwell safely, shall thou not know it, and thou shalt come from thy place out of the north parts, and thou and many with thee, all of them riding upon horses, and a great company and a mighty army, and thou shalt come against my people of Israel as a cloud to cover the land, and it shall be in the latter days that I will bring thee against my land, and the heathen may know me when I shall be sanctified in thee. And we looking at it. Like I said, we was talking the other day of 10 to 30. They're telling us that 95 or 90% of the people in the world are gonna be in Africa.
Africa, right.
They know all this. So it's all going to that. That's what that is. It's no.
So we are very beginning stages.
Right.
Of this right here.
Yeah, it's time. We at that point when he sent Moses and told them, let my people go in the wilderness so they can come serve me. They turned around and said, no, make brick without straw. That's what we at now. It's time. They know it's time for us to go. All the alarms, all the signs is there, but they turning around and saying, no, we ain't gonna let you go. That's what this big old white coalition I'm talking about, what they just done with Trump and his cabinet. That's them saying, no, we ain't gonna let you go. We finna shut it down. We're gonna do like Pharaoh did. That's where they downfall is. Because they in the same place where the Pharaoh was at. And all they had to do was let them go.
So I'm just saying something. And hold up, for people who is reading this right now, understand we are at the very beginning. We are right now entering the beginning of this. So for them to understand, God's people gotta be out of a lot of this shit. We gotta be where we are, all of us in this unwalled village situation. So Ibrahim Torre is the beginning. He's the beginning. He is the initial beginning situation of a lot of things that's supposed to be manifesting, which we see it's this shit with these folks. It takes years. So
yeah,
we're at the beginning of it.
Right. And when you look at what happened when Nebuchadnezzar came, he came to Nebuchadnezzar, the Chaldeans. It took 3 extractions. The Chaldeans came to Egypt, they came to Babylon, they came to Israel 3 times. And that first extraction was when Daniel and Ezekiel and all them went, and Jehoiakim. But he came back twice. Remember, the first time when he burnt the city, he took Jehoiakim and Daniel and all them, and he made Zedekiah the king, and he gave him a man. Then Zedekiah turned against him. Then he came back and burned it.
Right.
And
that was over time, of course, of time.
Right. So look at today. Look how it already started a while back. Look how many people left here from Africa.
It did.
It's the same thing happening. But like I said, we're not looking at the real people, the right people. Everybody's so brainwashed, so who they focus is on those Israelis that's over there. So check this out right quick. Like I said before, when you understand scripture. So we know that South Africa, those are Israelites too, right?
Yeah, true. But I hope ain't nobody over here fucking thinking that we looking at them folk.
Oh yeah, they think
I hope not.
The majority of them, like I was saying before, you would think with all these conversations that we having and things that you do as an Israelite on
show your daughter how much you
are that we do on the internet, you would think that everybody know about the Israelites, but you got a lot of Negroes don't even know nothing about no Hebrew Israelites. They in the dark, bro. So check this out. Look at this.
Daring leap into the spotlight. At the recent BRICS summit, President Cyril Ramaphosa delivered a closing speech that not only captivated attendees, but also sent ripples through the corridors of power across the globe. With bold declarations and a passionate call for justice, he challenged the status quo and set the stage for a new era of international relations. But what did Ramaphosa say to everyone talking? Let's dive into President Ramaphosa's bold remarks that have the world talking. Could his stance on Israel signal a dramatic shift in global alliances? Chapter 1. South Africa's unique position. Let's focus on South Africa's unique role within the BRICS alliance. As the only African nation in BRICS, South Africa has a distinct responsibility to represent the interests of the continent. This is not just a ceremonial role. It carries significant weight in shaping discussions around global issues that affect developing nations. President Cyril Ramaphosa noted, "Our history compels us to stand up for those who are oppressed." This statement reflects South Africa's journey from apartheid to democracy. The country has a rich history of fighting for human rights and social justice, which informs its foreign policy today. But why is this important? Well, South Africa serves as the bridge between BRICS and African nations. It advocates for African interests while also promoting continental integration and development. This dual role enhances its significance within the group. South Africa's strategic location at the southern tip of Africa enhances its importance in global trade routes and maritime security. This geographical advantage positions South Africa as the key player in facilitating economic cooperation between BRICS and African nations. However, South Africa's unique position also requires a delicate balancing act. While deepening ties with BRICS partners, especially China and Russia, the country must also maintain positive relations with Western nations. This diplomatic juggling act reflects South Africa's pragmatic approach to foreign policy. Chapter 2. Key themes of speech. In his address, President Ramaphosa highlighted several key themes: regional connectivity, conflict resolution, and multilateralism. Let's break these down. First up is regional connectivity. Ramaphosa stressed, "We must connect our economies through better infrastructure." He proposed initiatives aimed at enhancing transport networks among BRICS countries. Improved infrastructure can facilitate trade and economic growth among member states. Thinking about it, better roads and railways mean reduced costs and faster delivery times. Next is conflict resolution. Ramaphosa called for peaceful negotiations in ongoing global conflicts. Dialogue is essential. We cannot resolve conflicts through violence. This is particularly relevant given the current geopolitical climate. His emphasis on dialogue mirrors South Africa's transition from apartheid, a process marked by negotiation rather than armed conflict. Finally, we have multilateralism. Ramaphosa stated, "In an interconnected world, we must work together." He argued that global challenges require collective action rather than unilateral approaches. This commitment to multilateralism reinforces the idea that no nation can tackle these issues alone. By emphasizing multilateralism, Ramaphosa positioned BRICS as an alternative platform for dialogue that includes voices often marginalized in traditional forums like the United Nations. It's about creating spaces where diverse perspectives can be shared and heard. Chapter 3, The Situation in Gaza.
There you go.
One of the most striking aspects of Ramaphosa's speech was his condemnation of the violence in Gaza. He described the situation as a humanitarian catastrophe. What we are witnessing in Gaza is unacceptable. His call for immediate international intervention resonated with many leaders who share concerns about human rights violations in conflict zones. Ramaphosa highlighted the dire humanitarian situation faced by civilians. The suffering of innocent people cannot be ignored. He urged the international community to take action to alleviate this suffering and provide necessary aid.
So who's bringing about the suffering?
Michael.
Yeah, he.
Huh?
Go ahead, AJ.
Nah, I said Michael's bringing the suffering.
No, who's bringing the suffering to to Gaza? Who's the one imposing their will on the people in Gaza?
Oh, Israel?
Yeah.
Edomites.
No, Edom.
They call them Israel, but the Edomites.
So if you look at this brother in South Africa, right? You got to look at him, and now when we talk about shit, does he not sound boule?
Oh no. My thing is this.
No, like the brother in South Africa,
right?
Who's saying there's a unilateral,
right?
That's dealing with what's going on in Gaza and a unilateral situation, son. Now, if I was to go to Ibrahim, you think Ibrahim, from what I'm hearing, like it's only a political situation. So this man right there in South Africa, who just now, he's the president, right?
Right.
So now, who was running South Africa? Was it not? And I'm not talking about political strategies, but I'm talking about the Boer, right? The Boer, them white folk. They was running South Africa. So this nigga sounds like he is a representation of what Obama was in America. It's no different. Versus now, if I was to go up the coast, right? On the eastern seaboard, and now I am reaching what is Igbo or Negro land, which now encompasses where my people is at, then it's a whole different conversation. Because people forget just how big Africa is.
Right. So this is my point. Who is our deliverer?
The Lord of hosts.
Okay, so I say it over and over again. Why sit around and worry about what anybody doing? The Lord of hosts know just how to do it. A question was posed a question was posed in Obadiah. Who can bring him down? Who can bring this beast down? The Lord of hosts. That's what he's doing. Ain't no different than what he using Ramaphosa, all these different elements to bring the beast down. Like he said, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll pop?
Facts.
That's what he's doing.
Facts.
Right, he bringing it down, and they so ignorant. So what happens is, we know that he tells you in the scriptures the most high is a way he operates. He says he told David and them follow the old paths. Well, if you don't know the old paths, you can't see him. He's working on you, but you can't see it because he wasn't given to you to see it. He's bringing them down, and they can't even see it. Like I was saying before, look what Trump. It ain't Trump that's gonna do it. It's these clowns, these Edomites and all these clowns that he got together. They finna put tariffs. They finna put tariffs. That's what brought BRICS to where it's at.
Right. And you know what? I'm gonna say something to everybody. I hope y'all know what tariffs mean. Tariffs only mean taxes. That's all it means.
Right.
It's another form of some shit called taxes.
Right. Oppressive. That's oppression.
But,
you pay them way more money than you're supposed to, and you get the bill. You get the wealth.
Right. And they make it sound in your mind, you hear it and you be like, yeah. No. Because at the end of the day, guess what? It's your ass still paying taxes on the shit.
Right. Exactly. And
At
then
the end of the day.
And then the crazy part about it is you're not in a position to put no tariffs on nobody because you $37 trillion in the hole. You ain't
exactly.
Like I was saying, that's what's gonna bring this place down when them nut buckets do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we
So they made this whole thing about your emotion.
Right.
This whole political,
right. Oh yeah,
vote for her, vote for him. They made it about your emotion.
Right. And
all it was.
Right. Like I said, look how they did the people. Look how they did with the people with Obama. Come on.
Emotion.
Yeah. There wasn't no time for him. There wasn't no time for no black man to be on in the White House. But they was putting because the Most High was on the Lord of Hosts was on them. They had to come up with that. That's Esau. He came and said, neutralize these Negroes. We're gonna put this black dude in the office.
Because that's Esau's job, is to prove that he is worthy. So if you if you look at it, like you said, it's get a ass, make them make brick without these.
Yeah, that's what they do. Right.
Yeah, that's pretty much. So I'm gonna make it seem sweet to y'all, but it's actually getting ready to be more difficult for you.
Right. And they can't even see. They can't even see. I don't know if you've seen it or other people have seen on there, but you see all these ass whooping that's being issued out around America since Trump won, because they thinking they arrive and they starting to come and handle the brothers talking to them using that N-word and thinking that they didn't arrive and not realizing that these are the same Negroes that you brought on the slave ship. These ain't the same Negroes. You gonna get ass whooping. You ain't see what they did in Alabama?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And they know it. They know what it is. And it's about the whole script is about the flip because of the emotion. Because of people's emotions. And that's what I'm saying. Like, them without wisdom, they gonna speak off of their emotions. I don't know if anybody pay attention to the young brother, I think, like you just said, in Alabama, who his mama found him hung in a big house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they're doing it once again. Oh, he committed suicide. And she's like, nah, I ain't trying to hear that bullshit. My son didn't commit suicide. So once again, we need to prey on the emotions to get these niggas back in check. So this is what's. But me, and a lot of my folk, we see what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my problem. I've always had, Leonard, from day one, is that for some strange reason, my folk always think that we need to get something right with these people.
Exactly. Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, so therefore, if I need to get it right with you, then I'm expecting you to give me something. Exactly. No, man, that's not what it is. It's not what it is at all. Right. I'ma see what something is and respect it as what it is.
Right.
And deal with the way. Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead.
No, that's all we can do, and deal with it accordingly to thus saith the Lord. Like, I'm not looking for you people to say that y'all come to y'all senses. Y'all are never supposed to come to your senses.
Exactly. Like I said,
I'm not giving it to you through what God gave me to give it to your ass.
Right.
But you ain't never gonna get right.
Right. Exactly. And then we see what he said in Ezekiel 37. He said, I spoke it and I'm performing and I'm gonna bring it to pass. That's it. But we ain't got nothing else to do. He spoke it and he gonna bring it to pass. We seen him do it in everything else he done.
Everything he done.
You know just how to do you. You know just how to do you. We ain't nothing we gotta do. If you sit back, he gonna bring this place down. We looking at him bringing it down.
That's what I'm saying. Like, for some reason, that's what I'm saying. The Christian mind or the religious mind gets involved and think there's some shit we supposed to be doing.
Right. Like I say,
come on, man. What?
Right. They got right now, or they got Jerusalem lit up. Those skies over Jerusalem. They got apparitions of angels. They got JC showing up in the sky. They got all that. Come on, it's no different than that than what we're looking at with Trump won the presidency.
Right.
Another time, it's for the
That's all I'm saying. Like, you ain't think like people don't think Lord of Hosts rolled this red carpet out for this song, bitch.
Exactly.
Yo, if you look at it and do the math, I don't care about how you feel.
Exactly.
You know, look at it. Look at what happened. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention to that shit. You know, it was done that way for a reason. Y'all thinking it's because of y'all votes. Really?
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. I say to people, like, if we gonna have a logical conversation, and I will have this conversation with folks that say that these people were selected, not elected.
Right. Exactly.
When he is now in office, how the fuck are y'all mad?
Exactly.
If he was selected.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying.
And then don't do nothing they told you they was gonna do.
Right.
Look what he's doing. Not, like I said, he got all these Trump supporters shaking their boots now because of the people he named in his cabinet.
Right.
They already know it's a slaughter for the happen. They look
slaughter, and he picked. Remember, he's the main person who said something about fake media, right?
Right. Exactly.
How many people he done chose already was on Fox News?
Oh yeah, exactly. And then they ain't paying no attention to. Look at the old boy, Elon Musk, man. He bouncing around like Jeffrey Dahmer, bro.
Right. He got caught.
Yeah,
he caught blunt right now.
Yeah, he ain't baptized, bro.
And he caught blunt. That's what I'm saying. He caught blunt right now. Like you would think he the president.
Oh yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's crazy. And it's still something going. It's something I think that's gonna come out. It's something they done in that election. It's something they done in the election. Like I said before, he won all the swing states. Come on, man.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't something that they done. That's what I'm saying. We witnessed something. We just witnessed something right now.
Exactly.
This what I'm saying. It's so. We've been saying this for probably, I don't know, 3-4 years now. Yo, the time that we live in it is so significant. Why? Because truth is put right in your face, and you still ain't accepting it. That's what I'm saying. We did not witness an election. Exactly. We didn't witness it. Right. Who did Kamala battle in the Democratic Party, Leonard?
Right. Exactly.
She ain't battle nobody. There was no primary. There was none of that took place on the Democratic side. None of that took place. This sister did not have to debate. The only debate I seen her was with Trump. If I'm mistaken, please somebody correct me. But I didn't see her battle any other Democratic candidate.
Exactly right. And then you go back. Then you go back to that she got utterly rejected. Nobody want to deal with her. So they had that's what I'm saying. So that's what I was saying too about not to digress the conversation, but look at JD Vance.
Right.
Nobody would never voted for him. They backdoored him.
No.
Put him in there.
Right.
That's a
who did he like? That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like where would he? Like we've been on this planet long enough to understand what the Republican Democratic struggles are. So they say we live in a democratic republic. Right. So from time immemorial, we've watched Democrats debate other Democrats, and it's like football, right? It's like sports. They done subjected us to this understanding. The Democrats go against Democrats, and then that's now the nominee to go against the Republican nominee who had to go against everything that the Republican nominee had to go against. So I didn't see this during this election. That was not something that happened. Why was this one so fucking rushed that we couldn't go according to the quote unquote democratical process that this country said it was built on? We didn't see that happen.
Exactly.
We didn't see it. And that's what's going over everybody's head.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We didn't see this manifest. So that's why I say when they rolled the red carpet out for this cat to be a president with 36 convictions.
Right.
And now he is the president. We just saw something we ain't never seen before.
Right. What you think would have happened with all that that went down? And then, like I was saying before, he ain't when Camilla came up there, her whole purpose that you brought on the scene was Joe Biden was incoherent.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, after all this over with, you make this crazy ass decision, to give Ukraine give them to go ahead to shoot missiles into Russia.
So he coherent for that.
Yeah, he's okay. Yeah, he on tune to be able to deal with that.
He coherent for that.
Yeah.
And this woman, right, said she would have never went against anything that Biden chose. Right? Well, obviously, you wouldn't have went against this either. So it's just, that's what I'm saying. Like, so for this was a landslide for the good old boy. It's a landslide for the good old boy. It was exactly in they wheelhouse for this man to be president. And you know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying now. This is my problem. Like, y'all really thought niggas had a fucking option in whatever was going to take place? Come on. Like, are we Hebrew or are we not? You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta understand, yo, this is they're still running this shit. So what did y'all really think we didn't have a option to say we got a person that was gonna represent us in this country? So either way, it was never designed for us to ever be able to be like, yo, they fed off of what we did during Obama.
Oh, yeah.
They fed off of
right. They
understood it. Yeah. They understood that. That's what I'm saying, yo. There's think tanks that this is what they get money off of, is paying attention to this type of understanding. So they already knew there was no choice. You know, we didn't have a choice. You know, so you mean to tell me that in the Democratic Party, if we're talking politics, there was no J.D. Vance is 40 years old, Leonard.
Right.
40 years old.
Oh, yeah.
That's how old this is, right? So you mean there was no 40-year-old to 55-year-old Democratic nominee that could have been challenging Kamala?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, they shut it down.
Where they at?
They didn't want the process.
They shut it down.
Right. They shut it down. And then, like I said before, I mentioned it several times, but it can only come up in certain conversations. So we see in America where they got black ops, right? They got these so-called SEAL teams, SEAL Team 1, SEAL Team 2. They got these special forces, commandos. Well, they got dudes, these Edomites, that they don't want to be the president. They don't want to be the president. They don't want to be in the cabinet. They think tanks. So just like you got a SEAL team, they got 67 of them. They can send them somewhere and turn the whole country around. That's what they did with the election. Like Tucker Carlson They got one over here saying this, another saying over here, and you getting fingered. The whole population getting fingered. And nobody sees that. They've been doing it. Like
That's what that
when they predicted that, what they call that, the Arab Spring. Remember that? The Arab Spring.
Yeah, the whole Arab Spring situation.
Yeah, summer rage. They said that the whole they gonna, and you gotta look at that. How you know that all the Arab countries gonna go off this summer? So how they can predict that? Because they sent them. I'm talking about. They sent about 7 or 8 of them in there in different parts of the Arab world and start turning up, making butter. And then by the time they done brought everybody against each other, then boom, the whole thing erupted. That's what killed Gaddafi.
Yep.
Right.
That they had his own people holding his ass up like he was the worst thing.
You know, they stirred up all that drama, propaganda, and all that you sitting there. That's what the news is. You sitting there listening to it, you get manipulated. Like I said, how can a Negro vote for Trump? Come on, you got fingered. Come on.
That you that deep into this Edomite politics.
Right.
But we see it. We could see it. So that's the conversation we always have in all Israel ain't Israel. So you know that's what it's based upon. But if people paid attention to the book, and that's what I'm saying, I'm peeping everything that you were saying, all these videos that you was having that you just put out. The one question that looms is, are you Israel? You know what I'm saying? So are you supposed to really think that the shit was supposed to work in our favor dealing with this situation? Or were we supposed to use this and just say we see prophecy?
Right. Exactly. We don't see none of the rulers. When we go back and look at our history in the books, none of the rulers of the regions conceded. Nimrod, all of them, they didn't do the right thing. So how you expecting now we in the very end, all of a sudden these people gonna do the right thing? No. They ain't gonna do the right thing. You supposed to be already braced for that. They ain't gonna do the right thing. Like I said, they're gonna make you make brick without straw.
That's it.
The Lord of hosts gotta come and put foot in them. That's the only way that's how it's gonna happen.
That's what we've been saying for the longest. You're gonna continue making brick. Like, you think whatever Trump's saying is finna make this economy turn, all of you get money niggas and things of that nature, y'all really think? Nah. You're gonna do what you've been doing. You know what I'm saying? While you watching hundreds of thousands of people get murdered.
Right.
Across the pond.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is what's been going on from as long as I know, when I started paying attention to 2001, when all of that foolishness started taking place. I'm watching it, yo. At the end of the day, I was still eating, I was still doing everything right. So everybody is not everybody, but the majority of people, I'm watching videos now, and the world is over. The world, like, really, like y'all see what's really taking place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You selfish people.
Right. And all the chaos. Like I said, look at all the chaos. People don't see how profound that is. All the chaos that's over there right now with Gaza. Well, what's the difference in that than the Crusades?
Right.
Come
Good
on.
point. Good point.
Killing over there, like they were killing over there now, like they do it right now. These same nut bucket.
Good point. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's deep.
And there's something.
Good point. Yes, sir. Point.
You can't call it. You can't call it. You can't call them for what they is. You still trying to get some kind of support or some kind of or make some kind of get some kind of acceptance from them when they just looking at who they are.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Right. Like everybody agreed with the Crusades back then? I don't think so. No. Same thing. Right. Everybody didn't agree. Right. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Everybody didn't agree with that understanding. But we, at the end of the day, what they say, the he who rules get the right to history. So we're watching this again.
Right. And like I was saying, look at Rome, the Vatican. The Vatican was in existence, but the Crusades was going on. Right. Look now, they're over there in Gaza. All the blood being shed over there. White House still sitting there. Rome still sitting there.
Right.
That's part of their program. That's how they keep subduing people, the population.
Eat them.
Not that. Like he said, they warlike. They warlike. Eat them. They eat them.
Eat them.
So, yeah.
They warlike. What do they have?
Right. Yeah, we had 2 hours. Anybody got any final comments about anything they want to shine light on something before we get out of here? Yeah. Yeah, glad to see you, Mike.
I'm here, bro. I'm always here with you.
Okay. Let me do this.